Are you wanting to understand the dynamics of the duel between the batter and pitcher in baseball? Today, I'm going to tell you about the nuances of this important duel and the possible outcomes. Hey everybody, thanks for joining me in my channel, Brutus on Baseball. In this video, I'm going to dive into more detail about the duel between the batter and the pitcher. In a previous video, I talked about the basic rules of the game, runs, outs, innings, and how the game works. In that video, I touched very briefly on the batter and the pitcher. The pitcher's job is to throw the ball to the batter, and the batter's job is to try to hit the ball. The duel between these two players is really the backbone of the game. So this video is going to be dedicated to explaining how it all works. Before we get to that though, this channel is a brand new adventure for me, and I would love for you to be able to help me out to grow as quickly as possible so I can share my love of the game of baseball with more people. So take a few moments, hit the like button for this video, hit the notification button, subscribe to my channel, and check out my other videos. And without further ado, let's play ball. We talked about what the pitcher does previously. They stand on a mound in the middle of the infield, and this mound of dirt has a little rectangular piece of rubber buried into it. The pitcher must have 1 foot on this rubber when he pitches the ball. Now he's going to pitch the ball toward the batter, and the batter stands inside what's called a batter's box, adjacent to home plate. This box actually exists on both sides of the plate, whether the batter is right-handed or left-handed, but they have to stay inside this batter's box when they're hitting. The third player that we're going to talk about here is the catcher. The catcher's on the same team as the pitcher, and it's his job to catch the ball that the pitcher throws if the batter doesn't hit it. The catcher wants to catch the ball and make sure it does not go past him. Now the objective for the pitcher is to throw the ball past the hitter if he can and get him to swing at it. The objective for the batter is to hit the ball as hard as he can in fair territory, so between these two foul lines. And the primary thing that we're going to introduce in this video is the strike zone. So the strike zone is this imaginary box that exists directly over home plate. So on the two edges of home plate and in height between the batter's knees and about the letters on his jersey. If the pitcher is able to pitch the ball inside of this strike zone, then the pitch is called a strike. If the pitcher pitches a ball that is outside of this strike zone, it's called a ball. Every single pitch is either a strike or a ball, one or the other. And in theory, a strike is considered something that is hittable, and a ball is considered something that is not hittable or shouldn't be hittable. There's another player here that we haven't talked about, and that's the man in black behind the catcher. This is called the umpire. He's a referee of sorts, and he's the one that actually stands behind home plate and calls whether a pitch is a ball or a strike. And it's up to his judgment to determine whether it is in that strike zone or not. Now, Major League Baseball has been recently playing with the idea of having robotic umpires to determine whether a pitch is a strike or a ball, but at this time, the umpire is still the one that makes that call at the end of the day. And if you're not playing Major League Baseball, if you're at any other level, umpires will be a way of life for a long time to come, I'm sure. So the next thing we're going to discuss is, what if a batter swings at a pitch? Well, if a batter chooses to swing at a pitch, no matter whether that pitch was a ball or a strike, it is now a strike, simply because the batter chose to swing at it. So if a batter chases a ball that's way outside of the strike zone and he decides to swing at it, it's still a strike against him. Now, a foul ball is something where a batter swings at a pitch and is able to get a piece of the ball, but it doesn't go in fair territory. Instead, that ball goes backward into foul territory. This is not considered to be in play and counts as a strike. So what are the primary outcomes for an at-bat? An at-bat is a time at which a batter is at the plate ready to hit. And in that at-bat, what are the things that can happen? There's a lot of different things that can actually happen, but we're going to talk about the very basics in this video today. The first one is if the batter is able to hit the ball. inside fair territory. Whether that ball is an out or whether the batter gets safe at one of the bases, either way, his at bat is over and the next batter hits. If the batter can't hit the ball into fair territory, then an at bat is usually ended in one of two ways, either a walk or a strikeout. Now in the first case, if a pitcher throws 4 balls to a batter before he can get 3 strikes, then the batter is issued a walk. And a walk means that the batter gets to go automatically to first base. On the other hand, if the pitcher is able to throw 3 strikes to a batter before he throws 4 balls, either inside of that zone or getting a batter to swing at it. And once he's able to get 3 strikes on a batter, then that batter is out, his at bat is over, and the next batter gets to come up and try. Now I talked briefly before about how foul balls, balls that are hit but not into fair territory, are called strikes. Well, that is the case for strike 1 and strike 2. But if a batter has 2 strikes and they foul off a foul ball will not count as strike 3. In that case, the batter keeps on trying again and again until he can either hit the ball fair, or he walks, or gets a strikeout. So foul balls do not count as a third strike. We're going to end this video with a few less common ways for an at-bat to end. These are things that happen occasionally, and if you see them happen, you might be confused as what just happened. So I'm going to explain a couple of them right here. The first is if the pitcher actually hits the batter with a ball. If the ball hits the batter on a pitch, then that batter automatically gets to go to first base, just like a walk. The only exception to this is if that batter actually chooses to swing at the pitch that hits him. If he chooses to swing, no matter what, that is a strike. The second way is if the batter hits a foul ball, but let's say it doesn't go clear back into the stands, it actually stays in the field of play that is before the stands. Well, the defenders can actually run it down, and if they can catch it in the air, then that would be considered an out. Now, the interesting thing about this is that foul ball can be an out if it's caught in the air. But if a foul ball lands without being caught in the air, it is not considered a hit and the batter cannot run the bases. The next thing I'll mention is a third strike. This is strike 3 on a hitter when they should be out. But let's say the catcher can't catch the ball. It either drops to the ground or it's called a wild pitch, where the pitcher throws it into the dirt and it goes back behind the catcher. Now on the third strike, a batter is actually able to run to first base. And if he can get to first base before the catcher can go get the ball, throw it to first, and the ball get there, then the batter is safe at first base, and it's not considered an out. On the other hand, if the catcher is actually able to retrieve the pitch, throw it to first base before the batter gets there, then the batter is still out, and it's considered a strikeout. The last thing that I'll mention, and this is so rare you hardly ever see it, is called catcher's interference. This is when a batter swings the bat and the catcher sticks his glove or some piece of equipment too far and the bat actually hits the glove during the swing. If the catcher gets in the way of the batter's swing, then the batter is automatically awarded first base. So that is very general information about the pitcher and batter duel, the strike zone, what strikes are, balls, walks, strikeouts, how at-bats generally end. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more detail about this dynamic of the game. And again, check out my links below. We talked a little bit today about when a hitter hits the ball, where it goes, but what actually happens once he hits the ball and rounds those bases. So I've got other links below that talk about the hitting process a little bit more, and a couple of links below that talk about the base running process a little bit more. So check them out, and again, as always, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and come back anytime to talk more baseball with me. Thanks again today, and please make it a great day for yourself. Take care.